All right, so I'm on day 6, actually. Day 6 of trying to just get the screw off the water pump, and I did it, and it made slight work of the thing. I bought this from Lowe's, but I paid $100 for it. The little $20 one didn't work at all and had me very nervous and filled with despair. But this thing made slight work of it, so I didn't want to pay $100 for this thing. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this kit. So let's give you a quick look at what this kit looks like. This kit is an Irwin made by Hanson. I don't know which is which, Irwin or Hanson, same thing. Irwin Hanson, and it comes with 25 pieces. Now I like these. I bought 2 kits. I like this kit because it works well with your regular sockets. I just got a 1/2. This in here fits nice and snug inside of there, and I was able to just crank the thing out like normal. I didn't want to have to use the little tapping the tapping adapter like the other kit recommended. Now this kit is actually made up of it's eluding me right now, but the type of steel or metal that this is made up of is kind of soft, and you know sometimes you hear about these things breaking off in there, and these are made of similar material. It's high quality material, but they're made of similar material. The reason why I like it though, and I feel kind of more confident, is because it's so thick. Now the other ones I have are actually made of cobalt. Now this set was only $40, but you don't get as much. So this is the other kit I bought. It's also a Hanson, and this is made of cobalt though, which is stronger than this other material and is less likely to break. And you can see these grooves are really thick. Now the other set that I bought, these were a lot thinner. These look thinner too. I mean, they're obviously thinner than these, but these are still more grippy and have a sharper edge, like a sharper, well, just grip, than the other set that I purchased that I have not taken back yet. And that's, I think, why those other ones wouldn't grip. These will surely grip, and I'm about to use this now on the other strip screw. But you have to use the little tap and die, the tapping adapter for that, and I don't like doing that, but let's see how it goes. So there we are. You see I got that one, oops, I got that one loose, and I ended up stripping that, just kind of being a little careless and using my impact. Although generally the impacts actually get this stuff loose, but I use the surge impact, and the thing about the surge impact is it's nowhere near as powerful as the M18 impact, and it doesn't have any. The surge it was stuck, and then it just spun real fast, and that's what caused that to strip out. But I mean, really, who uses triple squared grooves on a screw like that? Makes no sense. Kind of like putting so many plastic pieces in the engine bay, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to use the other set, just the $40 um, extracting set, to see how it works. And well, I'll go over that. But it's funny, what you guys are looking at of the engine, like right all around here, it looks clean because I sprayed this thing so much with PB Blaster. But I'm going to put a little bit of cutting fluid in there. Just a little dabble dip. And we got to go in reverse. I want to make sure we're dead on in the center, best possible. Let's go. Get some more cutting fluid. Gonna try a smaller one. Okay, there we go. That's already biting. So we're gonna take a hammer and lightly tap it in. All right. Get our socket. love this kit. Oh, I love it. There you have it, folks. You just watched me do another one. That was really easy. Oh my goodness. And to think, I'm on day 6 of trying to get that stuff. It just pays to have the right tools. I mean, this was $100, yeah, but goodness gracious, it saved me so much time. I could have been done with this car, or at least the water pump anyway. So let's go ahead and look at the water pump. I got 2 of them, and I wanted to show you guys something before I sent one back. All right, so here are the 2 water pumps. This is a Beck Arnley I got from Rock Auto. It was $70 something, and this is, even though it's came in that box, this is actual genuine Volkswagen part. Now, this actually has a $50 core charge, but I ended up paying $227 for it, and like I said, this is $70 something. Now, the reason I bought this first, because I didn't want to have any problems. After all, the water pump that's in there looks like it may have been original, even though that screw was stripped. But if it was original, then that means it's lasted over 100,000 miles, and I obviously want it to last quite a while, because I'm not trying to do all this again. The problem was, though, I got it, and we see this thing, and look at that. It's a plastic impeller, and honestly, it's very smooth and high quality, but kept trying to figure out, like, is this really plastic? Like, I paid $227 to make sure I got a metal impeller. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me that this is plastic, because Volkswagen put so much plastic everywhere else, and really, frankly, it doesn't make sense. I have a little side rant right now. Like, hold on. Okay, I need to look y'all face to face. I might even need to go for a walk for this rant. Hands down, some of my favorite cars, the cars I think look the best, perform the best, are all German vehicles, right? I love the way Mercedes look. I love the way Bentley, Lamborghinis, the Bugattis, the BMWs. I love the way they look. I love the way they perform, but they don't last. And it's across the board consistent why they don't. Plastic. Why haven't the German engineers at this point realized, like, you know what? Maybe we should start making better quality parts instead of using plastic and having people break down. Well, I know why, because people still buy the cars. And all that does is just make you have to buy another one after 100,000 miles or whatever. And to me, we should probably stick together as a people and stop supporting these companies that keep giving us this trash. And it's not trash. I mean, clearly, like, look at this. I have not one, but 2 LS430s, right? I love these vehicles mainly because of the value that you get out of them. That one has 200,000 miles on it, and this one has 80. But this is a 2002, and that's a 2004. This has a refrigerator or a cooling box, rear massage and reclining seats and all of that, and everything works. And a lot of the stuff is original, okay? You don't get all that plastic. The cars were engineered to make sense. And they're quick too, 290 horsepower, But they don't hold a flame to the handling, the speed, the smoothness, the quietness of this Phaeton. Or Phaeton, whatever you want to call it. I like saying Phaeton, okay? They can't hold a flame to it. This outperforms these cars all the way around. But for goodness sakes, man, the plastic doesn't make sense. Now, the valve cover, okay, all right. But that was probably some ridiculous O-ring. The alternator was an O-ring. You got a water-cooled alternator, and you're securing it with an O-ring will fail. I mean, all this plastic. Matter of fact, do you guys know, and I learned this from Tavares when he was fixing up his Bentley, who, by the way, declined to work on this. This is when Tavares was coming up. He wasn't as big as he was. I hit him up, was like, yo, let's rebuild a Phaeton. He was like, they're cool, but nah. I mean, he passed. And I kind of see why. And he ended up getting a Bentley from Tyler anyway, and we saw how that turned out. But I did not know on these '04s that, oh, and for those of you who don't know, I might be getting ahead of myself here. This is the same engine that's in the Bentley. Okay, the only difference is this is not turbocharged, so it doesn't have the turbos, on the bottom, but everything else is the same. And it's the exact same transmission. But the vacuum lines are actually coming from the engine, and they go lay on top of the transmission. First of all, and they're made of, guess what? Plastic. So when, not if, but when those go bad, it'll be an engine out job. And they're not even making a lot of this plastic stuff anymore. All this I had to replace. If you go back and look at my video, I had to replace all that because that plastic just broke. I just snapped this off, and I felt it like was really loose right here, and I'm like, what is that? And because it was oil everywhere, yeah, this is the PCV, goes to the PCV system, and oil because the plastic just brittle, broke. So that's my rant, y'all. I have to just say that, like, at some point in the very far future, I'm going to have to drop this thing and replace all the little hoses and bits back there, and that's if I still have it, because I really don't want to deal with the plastic. If they didn't have so much plastic, this car would be like a regular car. It'd be amazing. It'd be reliable. And, I mean, people would covet this thing. I mean, it's amazing. Goodness gracious. The interior, untouched. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So anyway, yes, metal impeller. So, I mean, plastic impeller. So I said, well, let me go ahead and get a Beck only, because I know on Rock Auto was advertising that it had a metal impeller, and it does. This thing is way heavier. You can feel it. You can see that metal impeller there. And while this makes me feel more comfortable, something told me, do not send this back until you get this. I said, okay, I won't. Now, upon inspecting it though, let's see if you guys can look in there and see this. The finish and quality of the build is night and day. First of all, I looked at it, and it's just many imperfections around the edge. And you guys can see that. It's just not clean around the edges here. There's a lot of dents and chips, and it's just not, you see that there? It's just not a really perfect finish. There we go. It's not a perfect finish at all, and that was a little bit concerning to me. I also noticed when I turned this, it turns relatively freely, but not as freely as this, which is obviously due to the plastic impeller. It's going to be easier to turn, but it shouldn't be that much easier. But when you look at the finish of this thing, look at all the sharp lines. There's no nicks, anything. It's just very polished, and literally it looks polished, legit polished. So I decided that even though I'm not a fan of the plastic, I'm going to go ahead and keep this, because we know this will last. And I said to myself, this thing felt like it was made in China or something. Then it made me start looking. Let's go look at this. Let's go look at the box. Made in China. What do you know? Made in China. And I just said, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go ahead and pass, because I started looking up reviews, and some people, were saying that it failed after a few months or a year. And I don't have time for that. So let's go ahead and get those regular screws off and put this water pump on. All right, so I have my thing down there. I already went over this before, but I have that thing down there to catch any fluid that comes out of there, because it's bound to be some. But before I go there, I'm going to vacuum up all that debris. good shape. It's not cracked or anything. This probably was changed not that long ago, but I'm glad we're changing it. Now I'm using some brake cleaner to clean around it. I'm not going to spray it on it because it'll get inside. I'm going to spray it on a napkin and wipe around it, which is dangerous in itself because some debris might fall in there, but I'd rather a little bit of debris getting in there than me putting that new water pump on there and it not being flushed and it leak. As long as you're careful with the way you rub, you should be fine. Big cut right there, let's like that. And then we're good. Actually, look, there's a little bit of debris around here on the O-rings, so I'm gonna take some distilled water and rinse it off. All right, so the bolts on the water pump only need to be tightened up to, what is this, 19 foot-pounds, and, or 25 newton meters. And the cool thing about these Husky torque wrenches is they have foot-pounds and also newton meters on them. Makes also decided to replace all this too. I had this coming. This was very expensive. It was over $200, but listen. That's very noisy, so I'm going there to replace that too. Now we can get started on the alternator.